Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another Overkill Productions stream. Thank you guys for joining. It's the first time in the A320, and we're coming out of KLAX on the live stream. So if it starts having any major issues, just let me know. Hopefully, everything goes well. But this should be a lot of fun. Hey, Medic771, how's it going? We are flying from KLAX to San Francisco. Hey Maxwell, yes, you finally get to see me go live, so you get to see all my mistakes raw. Find out how terrible of a pilot I really am. Watching the Olympics and Overkill, huh? Well, hopefully the Olympics are more entertaining than me, because this is going to be interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Start turning our batteries on. We are doing a cold and dark state here. Get some external power rolling. Get our ADIRs on. Make sure evac is in the captain position. Crew oxygen supply. Let's turn our wing lights and nav and logo lights on. No seatbelt signs and no portable devices. Arm those emergency exit lights. And now let's make sure we come down and set our fuel, then we'll return to the overhead panel. I don't think you're that bad, so you just think I'm bad. It's like when someone says, nah, man, you don't suck, but I do okay. Thank you. Is the stream going okay for you guys? Is it lagging at all when I do the camera sweep or anything? I'm a little worried about that. Let's turn our flight pad on. A little bit. Hopefully it picks up as we get out of LAX. All right, we'll see how it goes. You know what, though? Let me check something here. I might be able to help you guys out a little bit right off the bat. Let's turn the render scale down a little bit. Hopefully that helps. Boop. All right, we'll see what happens. Okay, and they updated the flight pad. Completely different layout now. All right, we don't need that. Well, actually, I guess that's the only way I can here. So let's see here. Why'd you guys do that to me? All right, let me do my QR scanner code here. So I don't like that everyone's going to these QR scanners. Kind of a pain, in my opinion. Open website. But I suppose with everyone having smartphones these days. And I think at the moment you have to do this every time. Boom. All right, so we got a charts, taxi. All right, so now what if we want to enter in our flight plan? This is all new. Interesting. All right, so let's move on down to the MCDU. And let's go to options, AOC, sim brief. It's in there, good. So now we'll go to our initialization request, do a init request, get our flight plan from SimBrief. Okay, LAX to LAS, that is not right. You know what would help is if I tell SimBrief to generate the flight plan. All right, now it's ready. So let's try that again here. Now I have to remember how to do it manually. There we go. Okay. Dude, that is so awesome. And it's funny too. So I had a guy on that same video today. I just read it today, and I don't toot my own horn. If anything, I'm more self-conscious than anything. But I had this guy come on today, and he sends me a message on the YouTube channel and says, "Just terrible video. Oh, this is a horrible video," or something like that. It's like, really? Well, based on the comments, I'm going to say that that's incorrect. But that is one of my prouder videos. All right, so from here, let's go back to the MCDU menu. Let's go to ATSU, AOC again, and we're going to do a performance weights and balances. I always do the OFP request send just in case it didn't load correctly. Boom, there's our fuel. And now let's load the payload. Boom. All right, so with that done, we'll come up top, turn our fuel pumps on. Come on. And let's start the APU. So we're going to move this pretty quick. Yeah, I'm glad, man. I hate videos that skip out on details with things like that. That's why my videos tend to be longer, but it's because I try to put more information in them. Because I get frustrated, especially when you're learning or dealing with something that you're not particularly familiar with. Let's see here. So we got initialization request. Now we need to go to flight plan, and let's set up our departure. So today we are using the Summer 2 departure. So departure, and we're coming off of 25 right today. And let's find the Summer 2. And using the stoked transition if it's selectable. Yep. Cool. And insert. And then for our arrival, we're using the Surfer 4. Of course it would be Surfer in San Francisco. All right, so. Nope, that still says KLAS. I just realized that. All right, so K. What am I doing? LAX/T. Glad I caught that now. That would have been bad. SFO. Oh, hey, the initial request is back. Why did that go back? All right, that still works. All right, cool. Back to the flight plan. And I have to do the initial request again. Gosh, see, this is confusing. All right, let me try something here. I've never honestly done this mistake before, so bear with me. Hopefully you guys are learning something too. ATSU, AOC, initial request data, and then we went back to initialization. Well, we may be entering the flight plan in manually. I don't know how to get it to reset. Well, this is off to a good start, huh? Let's check page 2. Nope, that's for the auto land. KLAX to KSFO. But then we go to initialization. Go to our flight plan. It won't bring up the uplink. I really appreciate that, guys. It really does mean a lot. But clearly I found something that's going in the A320 guide when I figure out how to do this. Whale, shoot. It's going to be more goodies too as soon as I can get the next plane figured out. Got big updates coming for the Longitude. I got big updates coming for the A320 because they've changed a lot with it since the last guide release. All right, I think we're just going to enter this in manually because I can't figure this out. So let's see if I can remember how. So first, let's just enter in our departure. 25 right. Come on. Going to the Summer 2. Using the stoked transition. And insert. And then from there, we're flying. Oh, well, it's easy. This is an easy flight. From stoked, we are flying direct to Surfer. Why are you doing this? All right, 194, both the same thing. Oh, went the other way. See, but it wouldn't let me put it above the... There, nope. That's not right. Race. It's not letting me put it above the decel point. So let's try it from here. I think I figured out what I did. Gosh, it's been so long since I've entered it manually. Keep your skills up, guys. This is what happens when we depend on technology. That's what we wanted. All right. Wait for that decel to move. There it goes. Okay, we're back on track. Hey, he did it. See, well, I don't think so. Yeah, it's not there. It's so weird, dude. But that's all right. We got it fixed. So from here, it's just we jump onto the star. So we're back on track. All right, so on the star, we are coming in on runway 28 left. And we're coming in on the Surfer 4. And transition should be... Let's check Navigraph. So let me pull this over here for you guys. Oh, you guys probably can't see it. I just realized it's recording the game, not the monitor. All right, so I'm checking San Francisco's plates. Finding the approach plate for ILS 28 left. And looking for our transition. We're going to be coming from the ocean side. Honestly, we could use Faith, and it would be basically a straight-in approach. Yeah, I think we'll use Faith. Let's come in on Faith. Because that's what I'm going to need to bring this plane down safely. Ba-boom. I'll be here all night. All right, so we should be good to go, but let's verify that because I know that was sort of interesting to say the least. So let's take our rotary, switch it over to plan. We're already set at 10 miles. Come on, baby. And let's start tapping through here. Looks good, good, good. Stoked. All right, so from here, direct to Surfer. And, yep, coming onto the approach. Oh, that's kind of weird. Oh, you know what? So... Actually, looking at it, we want Eddie. And this is why you always double check. So let's come back down to our destination here. Let's go back to the arrivals again. ILS 28 left. And the Surfer 4. And we're going to use Eddie. And I'll show you guys why. So we hit insert now. Let's go back up and check again. And so as we tap through again, everything looked good up until then. So from here, from Surfer, and then we jump onto the approach, and there's Eddie, and now we don't have that weird arch backtracking us around. Now we're just flying direct onto the approach. So that'll work a lot better. I like that. All right, cool, groovy. Okay, so we have our weights and balances are set. We have our flight plan is entered. Now let's move on to our initialization page B. And we can tap in our zero fuel weight center of gravity. The block fuel, I always take it from right here. It just makes me feel better. I don't know why. 6.3. I always leave room for bugs. I work in IT, so I always expect something to go wrong. Dude, the A320 is awesome. It's fun to fly. My preference would still be a 737 like what we had in X-Plane, like the Zebo. The Zebo was so much fun. But I think it's just because the Zebo is more more manual, more hands-on. All right, so V1, this, oh, I'm a dork. Helps when you put in your flaps. All right, so flaps 1, then V1, the speed at which we must take off, our rotation speed, and V2, the speed at which we will continue to climb and accelerate with the loss of only one engine. Transition altitude, always 18,000 feet in the United States. And we're just going to use Toga for takeoff today, so we don't have to worry about anything else from here. So, running back through our checks, we have our flight plan, we have the initial data, we have our initial page B, we have our performance page set, and we can take the V2. Oh, come up top. Let's brighten these lights up a little bit, and V2 was what? 140 knots, so we're going to add 10 knots onto that and go to 150, and the only reason why they do that is it just provides better performance on takeoff. And we'll just make sure the speed remains in manual mode here. All right, and let's see what our cruise altitude today is. Today we're going up to 32,000 feet, which is crazy because that's actually a really short hop. And give me that back. And we want 150 knots. Okay. Open that up. Flight constraints on. Flight directors are on. Altitude constraints. Heading will set as we align with the runway. Then we'll come back. There we go. And let's set our transponder code. Simulating that we've gotten our clearance. Let's clear the transponder. And let's say we get 2514. There we go. Switch that to auto. TCAS remains off for now. Engine master mode, the normal position. Engine switches are off. Flaps are retracted. Speed brakes are retracted. Predictive wind shears off. Weather radar is off. Cockpit door, let's give it a close. Parking brake is set. All right, I think we're ready to get this beautiful bird fired up. So, unless you guys can think of anything I'm missing, the APU is already available. Let's come up top, make sure that I'm not lying to myself or you guys. Let's do a quick APU fire test. Should have done that before I started the APU. Let's do our engine tests. All right, fuel pumps are all on. APU is ready. Let's turn that beacon light on, letting everyone know we're getting ready to get out of here. And seatbelt signs are all on. Give the cabin a chime, let them know we're ready for pushback. And let's use our pushback helper. And let's get rid of the jetway, external power. And I think that's all that I have to worry about back there. Let's make sure that thing's actually moving. It is indeed. For the PMDG 737, so here's the thing. I am excited for the aircraft. I'm excited for the quality. Let me set our altimeter. I'm not particularly excited knowing PMDG and their history for the price. But they do put out a very detailed product. I had the PMDG aircraft for P3D when I was playing it a long time ago, but I haven't touched it in a very long time. All right, so, gosh, it's probably been 4 or 5 years now since I've touched PMD or P3D. So yeah, PMDG, that still works. Okay, so now let's take a look at our taxi instructions to get to 25 right. So I'm looking at my Navigraph. Open up the taxi plate, go into airport info. All right, 25 right, so we want to go tail out to the left, our left. All right, so let's call our pushback. This pushback tool is so cool. It really is awesome. All right, and we have, again, the APU is set. We can disconnect external power. Go ahead and turn on the APU bleed since we are getting ready to start the engines. Engine master mode to ignition. So I'm a snob, so naturally I want the ladder of the models. Well, actually no, I would want the like 700 or 800. I don't know that I want the max, and it has nothing to do with any of its history. It's just I kind of want to see more of the, how do I describe it? The more hands-on requirement, I guess. All right, so let's go to our external view here. Oops, wrong button. And let's release the parking brake. Is that an A380? Dude. Okay, that's a bad day right there. I'm just picturing the sheer carnage of what would happen to that poor little plane if that actually took place. It'd be like getting ran over by an elephant. Alright, so nice thing is you can control the speed and then use your rudder pedals. Oh, I'm supposed to be able to use my rudder pedals. It's not letting me. That's not good. So I guess I'm not using my rudder pedals. But, nope, not this way. Tugging it like this is a little weird with the mouse. Yes, they are. I'm sure it will still be quite a while before we see it, but yes, they are building it completely from scratch. And then they are also having somebody completely from scratch redo all of the textures, internal and external, for the A320. That's a team of just, pardon my French, but badasses. I mean, that's incredible. Such an undertaking. Them in working title, man. They've really, whoa, too much. They've really done amazing work. Working title, and between the CJ4 and the G3000, those are my biggest ones that, you know, I use. I use the G1000 a little bit here, but honestly, I prefer the aircraft with the steam gauges for the general aviation. All right, let's slow that tug down. And normally, obviously, we'd be starting our engines by now, but it's a little odd to do that from here. All right, end pushback, and we can set the parking brake. Close that. We don't need that anymore. You know, I haven't done enough research on them. I actually just recently saw that update, so I don't know that I have one yet. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to start our chronometer and start engine 2. What about you guys? What are you guys excited for? Yeah, I can't blame you there. That's why I like, I don't know if you guys saw my video I just did yesterday or came out. I think I released it this morning with the bearing. Wow, I didn't know that. That's pretty hot. The Honda Jet, is that the one with the V-tail? All right, let's cycle the chronometer again and switch over to engine 2. Or engine 1, I guess, technically. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Gotcha. Thank all of you guys for the follows. It means a lot. Hope I'm living up to the expectation here, because right now I'm sort of feeling like a cluster, you know what. Alright, so engines are available. Engine master mode. Back to normal operation. TCAS, TARA, predictive wind shear turned on. We can stop the chronometer. Moving back up to the overhead panel, APU bleed can now come off. And APU master switch can come off. And do another quick flow, make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm always nervous when I do these streams. I haven't gotten used to them yet. If you guys had any idea how many times I've had to restart flights because on my recordings because I do something dumb. Alright, so auto brake set to max for the event of a rejected takeoff. Seatbelt sensor set, no portable devices are set. Parking cabin ready. APU available, it won't be for long. Alright, I think we are set. Let's go ahead and set flaps 1. And we'll arm the speed brakes when we reach the runway. Alright. Why? Just because you can laugh at me and you can't laugh at the Olympics? If it gets stuttery here, guys, I think it's I have a third-party scenery for LAX, and the multiplayer is turned on, and live traffic's turned on. I sort of didn't think about that. So forgive me if it gets a little laggy here. I promise it'll clean up once we get airborne. And if it gets too bad, I'll disable multiplayer and live traffic. I just get so tired of being the only plane on a runway. It's like, that totally kills the immersion. Like, even that, like, that is not LAX. Yeah, worldwide commercial hub. Mm-hmm. It's empty. I know what you meant. You're fine. I appreciate that, Drift. I did hear about that. I had to look up what an MV310 was. I had no idea what the heck that was. I'd never heard of it before. I love Milviz's Corsair. I know some people say, that the flight model is wrong, and it may very well be. I'm not questioning that at all. But there's just something, I hate it on takeoff and landing. I'll admit she is a beast. But I have successfully done it, so I know it can be done. It just, you really have to be on your toes with it. But once you get up and flying in the Corsair, I love it. The sounds, I think, are fantastic. Let's do a takeoff configuration check.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Oh, hey, they changed the audio. Speaking of the audio, can you guys hear everything okay? Or do I need to turn it up a bit? I have it turned way down. That way you guys can hear me in the tutorials. All right, cool. Good. Although I probably shouldn't be taxing at 30 knots. Just a thought. Alright, and you know what? We are not going straight up to 32,000 feet, so let's probably set this something more reasonable, like 12,000. I suppose I could be a real pilot and look at the star. But, nah, what's the fun in that, right? And I am hoping to figure out at some point what is wrong with my ATC, man. I can't get any audio out of it. I don't want to be sitting there reading the script every time that I want to use it. Alright, there we go. Approaching 2.5 right. Let's hold short. Alright, let's speed. Spoilers are armed. Parking brakes off the os. Flaps are set. Engines are set. TCAS is set. Transponder set. Predictive wind shear set. Weather radar. I don't typically use it. I don't like the way it takes up the screen. Again, I told you guys I'm a snob. Let's see here. Altitude set. Speed set. What we gotta do is line up the heading when we get to the runway. Alright. Strobe light coming to auto. Landing lights coming on. I forgot to turn the taxi light on. Got to switch that to takeoff. Runway turn off lights. Runway is clear. I used to use that pilot to ATC, but in the last couple patches, maybe I should try it again, but in the last few times I tried to use it, it just gave me more problems than it was worth trying to talk to it. And then I had ATC chatter attached to it, which gave a really cool immersion effect in the background. I really liked that. Alright, let's lock up that heading bug. Alright, heading bug is set to runway, and we are in heading mode. So we'll leave that on for now. Alright, so final checks are complete. Let's start the chronometer again. 50% on the engines, verify stable. Toga! Nose down till we, about 3 degrees till we clear 80 knots. There's 80 knots. Releasing the down pressure. There's V1 rotating. Come on, baby. Positive rate, gear up. Hopefully that's a little easier for you guys to see. It feels like it's really dim. Switch the heading over to FMS. Nope, wrong one. There we go. Alright, thrust levers down into the climb position. Let's engage the autopilot. Turn our nose wheel light off. Honestly, the runway turn off lights can come off too. I need to try VATSIM. You know, in all of my years that I've been doing flight simulation, I haven't ever touched it. Alright, reaching our flap retraction speed. So flaps up. Oop, wrong way. There we go. Whoops. And let's extend our distance out here a bit. And we are on our way. Did the stream smooth out now that we're getting away from LAX? If I had the throttle, I would. My thing is that any information that I give you, I'd be guessing, bro. We can also now disarm the spoilers. Increase our altitude, 19,000. Let's see, we can... I heard this... I don't know if this actually saves FPS or not, but we'll turn these two displays off. I don't use them. What kind of trouble are you guys having with it? And we're clearing 10,000 feet, so landing lights off. And are you just referring to the A320 that the TCA throttle has issue with, or is it everything? Oh, wow. No, I mean, but is it just for a specific aircraft, or are you having trouble with all the planes that you try to fly it with? I think next stream we should do some landing challenges in the A320. I mean, like some of the really hard places. Oh, wow. Alright, so then it's general configuration. So I can try to do a video on how to calibrate your axis and how to set them up to where they're comfortable for you. But again, without experiencing the issue with the throttle itself, I mean, it's just going to be, you know, a generalized tutorial. Let's increase our altitude up to cruise. But I'll try to help any way I can, of course. That's why I started the channel. When you go to the Windows display, the Windows control panel for the flight stick, does it do the same thing? Switch down to barometric pressure or standard pressure. Then in that situation, I would think it's an issue with either the physical hardware or the drivers. If it's not related to Microsoft simulators specifically, then that it's going to be outside of that. And you should still be able to reduce the curve input and things like that, but that's going to be tough. For example, if Windows is detecting that at only a quarter of the throttle throw, you're at 50% usage of its total axis, then you're going to adjust your curves and everything until you're blue in the face, because Windows is still thinking that you've already used that spot. You know what I mean? If anything, messing with the curves might screw you up even more. That's really interesting. Have you checked the latest drivers from Thrustmaster? See if they update it? I know they don't update often, but might be worth a shot. Yeah, like I said, no promises, but might be worth it. Everybody got any good plans for the weekend? I get to clean my front yard. It's exciting. I'm sure every one of you wants to join me, right? I think it's quiet enough up here. We can turn the seatbelt signs off. Let them use their portable devices. I need to get my wing views back in. I don't think there's any by default if memory serves. I didn't think so. That's too bad. Might have been kind of cool. But there's our first flight level change. Let's take a peek at the star for a minute. We're coming in on the Surfer 4. You know what, I suppose actually, here. Just realized if I set this up, might as well use it. I think we have access to the charts now. I always use the external app now. Let's load our flight in here. Come on. Do I really have to do it again? I didn't think so. That's weird. Alright, well, let's do this. You know what? Let's do that first. Dang it. There we go. And close that. That way you can use the keyboard. Alright, so let's find the Surfer 2. Or Surfer 4. Alright, so we're going to be coming in at Surfer. You know, I just thought about something. Did I ever? Yes, I did. Okay, good. Couldn't remember if I put it back into managed speed mode. It's like, man, we are just going like a tortoise if we are. And flight level 200. Then at 15,000. Alright, so let's do this. Let's go to our top of descent calculator. Yeah, we can sink it. Be close enough. And we're going to want... I always set down to 10,000 is what I do. Just because at 10,000 feet, at that point, you're always on your approach. So 65 nautical miles away from our 10,000 foot target. Well, but that's here. Let me just... I don't know if it'll let me type in there. We'll wait till we get to cruise and we'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be about right. Might be another 5 to 8 miles. Alright, that's close enough. Hey, Clark! I actually do remember seeing that name. Yes! How are you? Australia? What time is it? Gosh, aren't you... Well, no, wait. You're going to be mid-afternoon now, right? Is that right? We'll enjoy you cleaning the yard. Yeah, that'll be the live stream of the century. I can promise you that's not going to be PG rated communication there. I hate yard work. That is so... You guys ever think about how weird that is? Like, to say that it's Saturday for you and it's still Friday for me? 160 kilometers northwest of Sydney. Gotcha. Oh, wow. I think I was tooling around over there in the Goose the other day, in my last stream. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that is what it sounds like. I agree. But it's just weird that you would have to do that for basically everything you fly. Do you only fly Microsoft Flight Simulator? So is it really as scary to live in Australia as everyone thinks it is? Seems like everything out there wants to eat you. I don't have any experience with the Reverb G2, but a buddy that I fly DCS World with does, and he loves it. It's great, and I haven't heard anything particularly bad about it. I mean, honestly, they really are all good in their own right. Like, it really just depends on what the scenario is and what you're looking for. The only reason, for example, like the Pimax is what I'm using. So I have the Pimax 5K Plus, and it requires quite a bit of horsepower to get it looking nice, but what I get is the wider field of view. With the wider field of view, you get that peripheral motion, and so then you get almost a sense of motion, so you get that better immersion with the wider field of view. The same token with like the Reverb G2, or even coming down to the Rift S, you know, you can crank up your settings quite a bit more because they don't have such the wider field of view, therefore not as much pixels to render, right? So it really depends what you're going for. And then like the Rift S, you don't have to worry about having any kind of tracking equipment, sensors on the wall. Like with my Pimax, I have to have the sensors hang up on the wall, and if I lose tracking, it loses the headset. So they've all got their pros and cons. I would highly recommend doing a lot of research before you dive into one, and just really not so much looking at cost. I mean, if you're looking at the Reverb G2, then you're pretty much comparable with it, just about anything that you would want to purchase. But really dive into what you're looking for from VR. If it's strictly immersion, you know, then I would more so recommend the Pimax. If it's clarity, if you're looking for that really pretty picture over the wider field of view, then yeah, I'd probably go G2. If you're just looking for something to sort of give you a balance of it all, then you could probably come down to like the Rift S. So it really depends on what you're going for and what your computer hardware is. You want to make sure that you can push it too. They are performance hogs. Well, shit. Yeah, I'd say you're pretty good on the computer there. I'd love to get a hold of a 3090. You just made me so jealous. Yeah, I knew the Crocs weren't near you based on where you said. I watch a lot of documentaries and things like that. No, you're fine. Don't be sorry. That's awesome that you got one. And with your computer spec, you can run anything you want that I can think of that's on the market. So you're good there. That's a really solid machine. But anyway, yeah, I watch a lot of documentaries, things like that. They're always really interesting. It's just like, you know what? It's not even the Crocs that bother me. For me, it's all the snakes and spiders that, you know, oh, people talk about being bit by a spider. Next, you know, 2 weeks later, they've lost their arm or something. It's just like, nope. Alright, let's see how we're looking here. Alright, so look at our chart again. Oh, come on, you gotta type it in every time? That's annoying. Look at me being all like a snoot. Like 8 months ago, this thing didn't have anything. No, we didn't. We keep getting bought out by cash. It's actually getting pretty scary, unfortunately, but we have until the 31st of August, so we'll hopefully something comes along soon. But yeah, every time we put an offer down, somebody comes in with cash and takes us out. But I appreciate you asking. That's really awesome that you remembered. It means a lot. Alright, so the surfer. Give me a second, Drift, and I'll read your message. I did see it. So between 15 and 19,000 feet. So my target is epic. That's where I want to be at 10,000. Alright, so let's just leave that up for now. Set my altitude down to 10,000. She should slow down first, but with my luck it's just going to start descending, so we'll probably reach our altitude a little early, but we'll make sure to stay within the restrictions and see what she does. Oh, she's staying cruise. That's good. Last time I did that, just rolled the altimeter or altitude and set it. It just started descending on its own. Alright, so that should be about right. Let's go ahead and start it. Yeah, the market isn't crazy. The market is greedy. And that's the sad part. You know, the house my wife and I are living in right now with our family, we have 3 kids, 2 huskies, 2 cats, the works. And so there's 5 of us. And we've been here for 3 years now. It's nothing crazy. It's 20, let's call it 2,200 square feet. And I would say this house, well, see here, we looked online, and when this house was initially bought by the current owner in 2012, it was purchased for $210,000. And so when we first heard the owner was selling, we had a feeling it was coming, right? And as soon as we saw the market, it's like, man, he's going to jump all over this. And the guy's just, he's not a great person. But we thought, well, you know, even if it's a little high, you know, we should still be able to pull it off. So based on the houses going around us, you know, we were thinking about $335,000, $340,000. This guy wants $380,000 for this house. It's like, jeez. Like, it's just criminal. It's just human greed. He called, we go through a rental agency, right? That is actually the landlord that we deal with directly. And she tells me today that the guy hit her up, when are they going to be out? It's like August 31st when our lease is up, you jackass. So it's just crazy. It's sad to see how much of the human aspect of everything is going away. That's why I'm always sounding like a, you know, preacher from the 70s talking about everyone loving each other and taking care of each other. It's just no one thinks about the person anymore. You see, as the world as a whole, it feels like. Listen to me going on that rant. Look what you did. Alright, so we are starting our descent. Oh, time to enter some destination data. Alright, let's see if I can get this to work. I don't know why. From the main page. From SimBrief. Come on. You're connected to SimBrief. I know you're connected to SimBrief. I don't have to enter my user ID anywhere else, do I? Oh, yes I do. That would be why. Alright, so I hope you guys saw that. If you can't get your information to come up, this is why. Okay, productions. Put that back in there. And let me make sure that it's saved. And now let's go from SimBrief. Hey, look at that. Okay, so now I'm waiting for our MEDAR information. So SFO, what do we got? Winds 310 at 14 knots. The altimeter 1015. So I'm gonna have to set that and then bounce it back. Groovy. 2998 is what that translates to, if this is correct. So let's come on down. All right, so let's clear this. And let's go to performance. Next phase. And QNH 2998 according to the Googler. I had to translate that. Temperature, what did we see over there? 12 degrees and 310 at 14 knots. So temperature 12. Magnetic winds 310 for 14. Transition altitude again, as always, 18,000 feet in the U.S. And let's take a look at the approach plate. Darn it. And again. KSFO. Did you take it? It does not exist. I just used it, dude. KSFO. There we go. Okay. And we'll be coming on the surfer. Actually, we want the approach plate for ILS 28 left. Yeah, I know we're out of the bounds. That's fine. And let's zoom that out a bit. Touchdown zone elevation is going to be 13 feet. All right. Well, we don't have to worry about what we need to set the altitude target to. And, well, so that means we're going to probably be using the standard. Let's see here. Decision height. Looking for ILS. Straight in landing, ILS, localizer, below slope. Oh, nope. So, yeah, 213 feet. So, 200 feet. Yep. All right. That's easy. All right. So let's come back over here. And we're going to select 200 under the radar altimeter. All right. That's all set. See how our descent is going. And we need to reduce our speed before we get ourselves into trouble. But we are looking good so far. No, we're not. We broke our altitude. Busted. Descended too fast. So let's lock her in here for a minute. We'll set her to 18. If you guys don't tell anybody, I won't. But we totally busted our altitude. We were supposed to be above 20,000. Alright, if you get into VATSIM... Hey Gonza, how you doing? Welcome to the stream, man. Okay, if you do get into VATSIM around this time, it's perfect for VATSIM service by 80%. All the U.S. centers are online, and many airports have ground tower departure. Wow. Nice. Alright, yeah, I'll check it out. I'll set it up. Alright, and let's set our altimeter here. Apparently we're still at 3001 up here. Why is that not working? B is not working. Interesting. I wonder if it's because we're right on the money. We'll descend a little bit further here. Alright, so we're passing through here. So let's double check my approach plate here because I don't want to make that mistake again. So checking on the star. The Overkill VATSIM stream. I'm going to call that just for you. I'm going to call that just for you. All right, between 19,000 and 15,000 feet, so we got plenty of time. Let's go ahead and set us down to 15. Get on going. I had it for a while. I don't know if it's still installed. Every time I tried to use it, I kept running into weird issues, and it was relatively early on in its development. There we go. Yeah, that's all it was. So it's definitely time for me to give it another shot. You're talking about the Project Megapacks A330, right? Hey, thank you. You guys are what make it fun. I always say that in my videos. I'm not just saying it. It's the community that makes it fun. Otherwise, I would just look like a fool in here talking to myself, which typically I do. You should see some of the looks I get when I'm giggling in my microphone on the recording and my wife comes in. It's pretty funny. You know, it's funny, those flight constraints, though. I need to use my Navigraph. Give me a second. I need to see where we're at. Yeah, no. So I'm right. So, Navigraph... Okay, so it's... The thing is, it's got a restriction here. Purple is typically a constraint of 17,000 feet, and that's not correct. So looking at the actual chart, it's between 19,000 and 15,000 feet. 15,000 would be the constraint there, but that's all right. So again, we're hitting it a little early. No worries there. I'll just start the descent for the next one right on the money. And next one, we're going to be stepping down to 10,000 feet. Let's check our rad nav. Verify the ILS frequency. Yep, ISFO. Good. All right, ILS frequency is good. Oops. I wonder how many people fell because I didn't tell them to get back in their seats when we started the descent. My bad. Sorry about the bump. What I still can't ever get over with this simulator is the scenery. I think that's... I will be the first to say it, and people are always thinking, like, you know, I've been accused before of being Microsoft Flight Simulator fanboy. It's the scenery that wins it. I have not, but I am always looking for new places to fly, so you tell me, where should I fly from? And we're going to reduce our speed to 240 knots. That's because of the constraint here. You know what, though? With the console, I'm genuinely worried for people for console, because I'm worried that, and I hope I'm wrong, and I'm really glad, I can't remember what company it is, but that company that's putting out the flight control specifically for the console, that's going to make a huge difference. But I hope that the expectations are set correctly for console. That way you get the best experience that you're expecting, because they seem to be preaching it in a way that you're going to get the exact same experience as someone on PC. And what I mean is, like, for example, the mouse interaction, you know, so make sure that you have a mouse for your Xbox, make sure that you have, you know, the flight controls and things like that, and some buttons to map, because, I mean, maybe it's just me, correct me if I'm wrong, but half the fun in, flying a simulator is making sure you descend on time, first off. But half the fun in flight simulation for me is getting to flip all the switches and buttons. I agree, Clark. And that's what I try to tell people. I say it all the time in my videos, that MSFS it's an infant. It's a baby. You know what? We're just going to keep that descent going. So what's our next target? Where's my Navigraph? 8,000 is what we're looking for. Let's just keep it going. This over here. And I am excited for it, don't get me wrong. I got a couple of friends who only have consoles, and so it'd be kind of fun if we can... If it works the way that they are boasting it's going to work, I think it's going to be awesome. Especially if we can rock the cross-platform. It'd be really dumb of them not to do cross-platform with it. That's true. That is true. I will agree to that. I was just saying earlier that I wanted to find some good landing challenges for the A320, so I'll definitely check that out. I wonder how many times I'll wreck the airplane. The nice thing about that little forgetting to start the descent is it actually put us right on track. Blessing in disguise. Alright. So we're still good here. And let's see, what's our next restriction? We're already at 240 knots. At Eddy, we need to be at 6,000 at 240. Okay. Alright, so let's go to approaches now. ILS 28 left. And then we're going to want 3,100 by He-Man. Oh yeah. Yeah, I just looked up that that airport. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll definitely give that a shot. That's what I want to do. I should compile a whole bunch of them and just make a video or do a stream of different landing challenges. That'd be kind of fun. Or maybe we could do you know what? That'd be a fun group flight. We all just pick different locations to do landing challenges and come in one at a time and trail. Maybe like a 2 or 3 mile spread. I could get some good camera shots of everybody coming in. That'd be cool. Alright, let's see what size of runway we're working with here. Let's go to my airport info. 28 left. Oh, it's 11,000 feet. Alright, so we can set auto brake to low for our landing. I'm going to recheck our barometric pressure. Looks like it's still correct. Good. Alright, coming up on Eddy. Let's get her down to 6,000. Speed's still looking good. That would add a lot of users. That's a really good point. And like I said, I totally understand what they're doing. I think it's a great thing what they're trying to do. You know, increasing the user base. You know, that's never a bad thing. What happened here? Huh. Interesting. So we are at 8,000. That's as planned. Get back to my approach plate. Coming into the landing area here, guys. So I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between chat and the plane. Go back to my Surfer 4 approach. Yep. All right. So we need to be at 6,000. So let's hold altitude there. Good. Find my approach plate again. Cool. Oh, the 777. Isn't that Captain Sims? Oh, that sucks. Yeah, so Gonza, I won't buy it. Any plane that boasts as a 777 and has all of the interior features, performance features of a 747, I don't know. And then the price, and I can go all day. I can go all day with that. So it was a bad integrity move in my opinion. So hope I don't trigger anybody with that, but didn't agree with it. Alright, so just about time to start getting things rolling here. So we come up to Eddie. We're at 6,000. I'm going to start reducing to 210 knots. Yeah, and then he turned around and did it again with the ER. I don't know. It sucks because and what's amazing to me is he didn't have that reputation. I don't think I can think of any of his aircraft were like that. It blew me away. Blew me away. All right, coming down to 4,000 now. We're going to reduce to 180. Let's bring up the LS acquisition. And I'm actually going to go vertical speed here. Am I? I'm having a debate. Yeah. She's descending too slow. We're going to use a little bit of speed brake to give her a hand. You're fine. Alright, that puts us back on track. Speed brake out and armed. Altitude set to 3,000. Back into managed descent. We're just about ready to turn on to the approach, and then we'll let the plane take over. I'm going to go back into managed speed. It should go to our reference speed, and it did indeed, 135 knots. No pressure. I'm just going to hold at 3,000 as we come around the corner. So, funny story about no pressure. When I was first getting into flight simulation, I started with DCS World. I've always been a real big aviation enthusiast, but specifically to combat aircraft. Never missed an air show. Dad and I used to grow up, I grew up watching Top Gun with Dad. Even though that, other than the airplanes flying around, that movie is about as full of crap as it can be. Maverick would have lost his wings in the first 3 minutes of the movie. But, we won't talk about that. All right, so as we're coming around the corner, I'm going to go ahead and go with a localizer. Anyway, and we'll turn on the approach mode. I'll get to that in just a second, Gonza. So anyway, funny story is that I'm getting into flight simulation, and in DCS World, even learning to fly the F-15, which has a very simple cockpit. Everything's keyboard controlled, but the flight model's still pretty good, right? And I probably had 20 hours into it before I really started feeling good. We're going flaps 1 at 10 miles. And we are below 10,000 feet, and yours truly did not turn his landing lights on. Don't tell anybody, and I won't either. I think it's the second time I've done that in one video, but all right. Anyway, got about 20 hours trying to fly this thing, and it was so stupid. Like, my hands are sweating, right? I'm shaking, I'm all tense and everything like that. And I'm finally, I'm rocking the glide slope, man. I've got it perfect. What are you doing, plane? Everything's looking just so beautifully, right? I'm so excited about it. My wife comes up behind me, kicks the hydraulics on my chair so my chair drops, and screams turbulence as I plummet into the ground. I was so mad at her that day. Favorite plane, Gonza? That is a tough question. So I'm going to make you specify that. What kind of theater are we talking? All right, so we're at 5 to 7 miles, or 8 miles here. I'm going flaps 2. Oh, why are we overspeeding still? Let's go flaps 1. Pretty girl, you need to slow down. We're in trouble here. Alright, spoilers back out. Give me a second. Let me get this under control here. Alright, this is going to be interesting. So we're at 7 miles. We're going to go gear down. Oh. We're going to do a cabin call.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
She's not slowing down. She needs to. Flaps 3.
1,000.
Come on, baby. You got to slow down faster than this. Now you can say no pressure. Come on. Okay. Next stage. We're going to be doing flaps full almost as we're crossing the threshold. With the spoilers up.
500.
Too low. Terrain.
Terrain warning? Come on.
Too low. Terrain. Too low.
Alright, full flaps. There we go. We're back under control.
100 above.
Disengaging the autopilot.
Minimum.
Continuing.
$100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Reversers out. Reversers retracted. Thank you, Max. Be here all week, signing autographs on Tuesday. Thanks, guys. Trust the plane. Picture where you need to be and then let her float down to the ground. That 30 feet mark is about where I start to flare. Alright, let's clear the runway. Let's clean up the aircraft. Flaps up, spoilers disarmed. Verify auto brakes are off. Landing lights off. Taxi lights on. Runway turn off lights don't need to be on. I'm going to go ahead and start the APU. Alright, let's get going to our gate. You know, I heard about some guy. He's a real jerk, though, who made some A320 guide. I don't know if I would trust him, though. A lot of what he says is BS. Just like anything else, but it takes practice. Takes practice and research. That's the nice thing about these simulators, you know, if you're going to dive into them, take your time. And I think that's the hardest part about simulators. Like, even with, like I said, DCS World is probably the worst one, honestly, when it comes to a new airplane comes out, you want to dive into it, you want to fly it, you want to get going, you want to do all the cool stuff that you see everything, you know, everyone else doing, and you can't. You got to, oops, I pushed the brake, that was my fault. You got to take your time and learn it. You know, that's why it's a simulator. So it really sucks because you have no choice but to fight through the learning curve. But once you do, it's fun. Oh, I should probably turn that taxi light off. Damn it, I touched the brake again. I need to work on my brake pedals. They are very sensitive. Okay, so let's do that. Parking brake on. Oh, I never started the APU. Why didn't you guys tell me that? Come on, someone should have yelled at me. This is your fault. Actually, I really don't need the APU. We can go to external power. Alright, right engine off, left engine off, engine's coming down. Microsoft, I hate that you do that. It does it at like the worst time. You know, I get doing it when the battery turns off. By then you have a cold and dark airplane. Why does it do it when you turn everything else off? Anyway, beacon light can come off now. Let's get our jetway up here. Come on. Cool. There's the jetway. I was in Singapore Air, Boeing 747. We landed in Singapore. Landing nearly shook the feelings out of me. Wow. After we reached the gate, there were people in torches looking out to the indicator. Oh my god. Wow. Wonder what happened. Was it just because it was such a hard landing? Alright, let's go to the overhead panel here. Do our sweeps. Devices off. Seatbelt signs off. Deboarding stick in place. You can turn our IRS off. Crew oxygen supply can be turned off. Oh my god. Wow. That's crazy. That's a big plane to be doing that with. Alright, lights are off. Batteries are off. And external power. Terrible parking job. You guys need to find a new pilot because apparently he can't park a car. Or a plane. Let's start with a plane. Gonza, real quick to answer your question. So it really depends on what the theater would be. If you're referring to like in Microsoft Flight Simulator or commercial or general aviation, I would probably say the TBM 930. I have really developed a love for that aircraft. I'm really glad I started flying that one. TBM 930 is fun. It's like a Lamborghini in the sky. It's cool, it's luxurious, but it still has enough of that general aviation feel where you have a good time flying it. If we're talking real world operation, yeah, dude, it's an amazing plane. But if we're talking real world and we're talking combat aviation, man, that's a tough one. So if we were to go, let's call it 1960s forward, I would probably say my favorite aircraft, performance-wise, would be the F-15 Eagle, the C. If you want to talk about visualization, yep, I'm going to be that fanboy and call it the Tomcat. The Tomcat just looked mean. It's a big plane. It's a heavy plane. It looks powerful. The way it grips and rips. I've seen it in an air show a couple times. It sounds amazing. You know, yeah. But if you're talking sheer performance, the F-15. And yes, over the F-22 and the F-35, the Eagle's still my favorite. Yeah, they did, dude. They really did. I love the Tomcat. And the thing I love the most about flying the Tomcat in DCS is, you know, you try to pull any of that Top Gun stuff, and that plane kills you. I've torn the wings off that thing so many times, man, not paying attention. And then if we were to go pre-1960s, and let's talk about World War II, right? I would probably say aesthetically, for the smaller aircraft, the P-51 Mustang. P-51 Mustang, between the way she sounds and it looks like she just sort of glides through the air. Well, let's see, but okay, no, you know what? I'm going to give you my top three because as I'm sitting here telling you this, I'm arguing with myself. I kid you not. I'm going to say the P-51 Mustang, the Spitfire. The Spitfire just looks beautiful. And then I would say the Corsair. The Corsair, when it comes head on you with those gull wings, just looks amazing. If we get into larger aircraft, B-17 all day long. Mustang gang. I like that. So it really depends. Like my daughter asked me that. It's funny that you asked me that. My teenager asked me that just before Father's Day. She asked me what my favorite plane was, and she got mad at me because I couldn't answer her. She's like, no. What would be your number one top plane if you had to pick one? I said, I can't. Like I'd probably get beat up in a room or something because I wouldn't be able to answer the question. Ah, come on. For aesthetics? The Lancaster? No. You know what's a butt ugly plane is the B-24. The Liberator was horrible. Okay, B-26, actually. All right. I would like that one. So, it's not the B-17, but I'm not giving you the Lancaster. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Which is amazing. I suppose it would depend on what position of the crew in the B-24 you would be in, because as you know, I've read read articles and watched documentaries. The ball turret, you'd load into it, it would retract up into the belly. The gunner would get in there, and on unfortunate, horrible occasions, when they would go to lower the ball turret down, it would keep on going. Like if someone ever asked me to get into a ball turret of any of them, I'd tell them push me out of the plane. Like, nope, it's a good thing I'm 6'1", because I would never fit in one. I did not use ATC in this flight, nah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Although that means they put you on the top turret, but at least you're still standing up and can move. And you're in the plane. Oops. Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, if we could all be so fortunate. Well, guys, it was an absolute pleasure flying with you guys. I really appreciate you guys joining me for the stream tonight. That was a lot of fun. It's the most fun one I've had so far. I really appreciate all the support you guys are giving me for the channel and the good wishes from my home and all that. So I hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend. I will be streaming again Tuesday night, so if you're able to join us, I hope to see you there. Other than that, watch for the videos. We have another Neofly one coming out this evening with the Cessna 172. That was kind of fun. But hey, thank you for joining it, and I'll definitely be doing it again, guys. Let me know. Make sure you guys are hitting me up on YouTube, and let me know what streams you guys would like to see again. Yes, Clark, see you again. All of you guys. You guys take care. Have a good night, guys.